Greetings from Mississippi, and I am bringing you news from the South Carolina legislative session from this week. There's a lot to cover, so I'll just jump in. So, as far as COVID relief goes, the House last week did pass a COVID relief bill. The Senate has been holding hearings on tort reform and business liability as regards possible cases of liability brought against businesses because of COVID issues. And I'm thinking that when it comes to dealing with the COVID issues, mostly this will be dealt with by the executive branch under the direction of the governor, as far as executing vaccination and testing and distribution of resources. But funding and appointing a DHEC director does fall under the legislative branch. And they did approve a new director for DHEC in the Senate today. He's the first medical doctor in 40 years to be our DHEC director. And he has a master's in public health. For the last 40 years, the DHEC department has focused mainly on environmental issues, but now we're going back to the roots of DHEC, which was back in the 1880s, when they focused on public health issues due to yellow fever. And then last of all, we have abortion, which ended up this year in the Senate to be mostly a debate between moderate and conservative Republicans. And the only place that the Democrats jumped in was Hutto tried to put his poison bill in again, passing an amendment that would ban all abortions. In 2018, that worked. Any efforts to ban abortions failed in 2018. It did not work this time. Senator Kempson was not there because his father has been in the hospital because of COVID, and he did pass away on Friday. So the only thing that Senator Kempson got to do was to spend one day talking about how we shouldn't be wasting time on this, and to say, because we in a pandemic, as he so famously says. The moderate Republicans, Senator Sen, said that we need to find a balance between the rights of the baby and the rights of the woman. And she wants to move the timeline for banning abortion back to 3 months, or at the end of the first trimester. She was very much in conflict with Senator Cash, and Senator Cash, of course, brought a lot of theology and a lot of religious arguments in, and Senator Sen was commenting on how we don't seem to have a separation of church and state in the State House anymore. And she finally told Senator Cash, I am your colleague in the Senate, but I am not a member of your flock. Senator Massey very skillfully succeeded in getting an exception for rape and incest inserted into this bill as an amendment, and our own Senator Garrett did vote for the amendment to allow for exceptions in the case of rape and incest. The most moving time of the abortion discussion in the Senate was the personal revelation from Senator Mia McLeod that she had been a victim of sexual abuse. And I believe that Bill has a clip of her wonderful and moving presentation to the Senate, and I will take off from here so that you can hear this.
I hadn't planned to speak again today, but after hearing the senator from Anderson talk about how grateful some women are to have been raped yesterday, I could barely contain myself. Clearly, he has never been raped. Probably safe to say that the 40 men in this chamber and the 100 in the House chamber haven't either. Well, I have. You're looking at a sexual assault survivor who, like most women and girls, didn't tell my parents, didn't report the crime to law enforcement, didn't tell anybody. Not because I didn't want to, and definitely not because I didn't need to, but because I was afraid to. So, how dare you? How dare you? All this talk about God. Let me remind you, God gives us free will. He gives us free will to make our own decisions and our own choices. It's this bill and others like it that takes that away.